For 7 months, nobody, not one person came to visit Nitro.
Oh, sweetheart.
Not for 7 months. And one day, a family of 4 walked in and said, "That's my dog."
Oh, Paulie, there was one that I saw this morning. I'm trying to remember which animal welfare organization it was, but there was this little guy that they found him when he was little. He's been at the shelter for 10 years.
Sure.
10 years, and he's just been adopted. So
amazing.
the family that adopted him, obviously adopting a senior now.
Yes.
So he'll be probably about 11 or so. 11 or 12. So, and that's such a gift. I mean, I love fostering oldies. I love adopting oldies. There's just a different gift that we can give them. So if anyone is wanting to adopt a best friend, and you can, then adopt a senior. Like if you know you're going to immigrate in 5 years, adopt a little oldie that's already like 12 or 13 or 14.
Just one thing 365.
What a beautiful gift. Yeah.
You see?
So special.
Every Wednesday, we talk about some difficult things. Like last week was pretty difficult for me, talking about what I have.
Yeah.
What I have, not what I have.
Have you seen the feedback, Paulie?
I have not. To be honest, I have been secluded from the socials for a little bit, simply because I go through these things where I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, there are some men that have reached out and have just thanked you for sharing your male perspective. So incredible.
You know, and we have to sort of, sometimes we have to take stock, and we have to sort of step away from like deadlines and meetings, and we have to spend some time looking at the things that are important to us, and that is ourselves. Because sometimes there is some horrible stuff on the internet. There is some people out there who reckon they are all that. And that's exactly what we are going to be talking about today. We're talking about people who just don't have manners. People who just...
To put it simply.
Yeah. You know, because can people just behave themselves?
Let's just be kind.
You know, it's
good
like
to each other.
My father always used to say to me, if you've got nothing nice to say, shut your beak. Be quiet.
Shut your pie hole.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into today's conversation, you mentioned something that happened to you recently online. Are you comfortable sharing?
Yes, of course. If it's going to help someone else, always.
Yes.
And look, I'm not going to over dramatize it. I'm not going to give energy where, to focus on it. But in a nutshell, what happened is Ray of Light Awards that I was at already 4 weeks ago. I can't believe it. They interviewed all of us as panelists and the directors, producers, etc. And they shared an excerpt of the interview that I had with them on social media, and they invited me to collaborate. And it's a few seconds, and the excerpt is about just one thing, 365, how we can all make a difference in the world, but it's going to take just one person at a time, just one action, just one day, and then being patient with ourselves and knowing that if we're consistent in doing this, we can be and make a difference in the world.
Yes.
Everyone can go onto my social and check it out. I'm wearing a little white T-shirt and I'm busy. Just one thing T-shirt.
I saw that.
And I'm sharing the video. So anyway, someone had popped onto another video a few days before that Rola also tagged me in and was giving me a heads up that this was a cult. So this film festival is a cult. And, offering support and help, and she can help me get out of it, etc. And I was like, look, thank you. I appreciate the effort, or the concern, but
I know
it's not.
where this is going.
So she sent a few, and I think eventually Instagram blocked her comments because she was obviously using the word cult too many times.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she, didn't appreciate that. I didn't even see the comments until after.
Yeah.
So anyway, a few days later, I get these notifications on this post. And in brief, she said, she pretty much accused me of causing harm because I'm oversimplifying things. And for neurodivergence, this could cause harm. And I should get a psychology degree. She's not going to listen to me or entertain someone that isn't educated.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay. So I went back to the video. It's like, what did I say in this video again? And And chatting with friends, they saw it and they came to my defense. Anyway, she did not appreciate this. And I let it slide because I was like, I don't know who this woman is. She actually followed me a few days before. I didn't follow her back because her profile's blocked. I'm like, if I don't know you,
what's the point? Like,
so
red flag number one.
A few of them. So I let it go, and then she just carried on going and going and going. And then the next day, I saw more comments. And now, Instagram algorithms loving this because there's all this interaction. So thanks for that. And I had a look, and then she'd started saying, she's known me my whole life. She's known me as a baby. She doesn't believe a word I say. So now I'm curious, thinking, who is this woman? But ultimately what it came down to was, if I had given her any more power, and I did spend that next day, I will admit, researching, because we had one mutual friend or one mutual acquaintance or someone that follows me, follows her, whatever. Ended up exploring because now I wanted to know who is this person that's known me my whole life, apparently, because I don't know her name unless she's changed her name. Anyway, eventually found out who she was. And then what I really wanted to share about this and why I thought it was so important is, someone like me that does this work and has tools to support my well-being, my nervous system, I can regulate, not take these things to heart. It even affected me to a point where I was consumed by, or not consumed, but I spent far too much energy on all of this. So it made me think of, because if we're on social media today, how much damage is being done by exactly what you said just now, where people just aren't very nice. If we can just have basic manners, if we can just, what did your dad say? Bite your beak, or keep what? Shut your beak. If you can just shut your beak and shut your pie hole, versus actively, bringing others down. And when I look back at what she was saying, that I must go do something more significant with my life instead of saying the stuff, I'm like, okay, well, there's just one thing. That's what we do actively every day. And I invited her into conversation twice to say, look, let's take this off the platform. You've obviously got some stuff to say. And she wasn't interested in that. So why I really thought that this could maybe help someone out there, because I know a lot of people are being trolled. Whether it's online by strangers or by people in our circle at work or family, friends, in air quotes, is how do we deal with this so that we don't take it on? And that's why I thought that this conversation could be really important.
Do you think it's actually realistic that to expect that we'll never be affected by criticism, or do you think it's just simply part of being human?
I don't think we'll ever not be affected unless you're so closed off and maybe you're a sociopath or psychopath and you don't have the ability to feel.
No self-awareness.
Completely. But for the most part, majority of humans that do feel and have the capacity to feel, I think we're all affected. I think the difference is how we interpret it and how we take it on. I think that's the difference. So it affected me. It did, because a whole lot of questions. And if I look back when I was more in my people-pleasing days, because, recovering people please over here, it would have affected me differently. So that was also a part for me to okay, I actually just laughed it off. And not to minimize her, because obviously she's going through whatever she's going through. She's got
not ignore that.
Completely. And I can have empathy for someone that is lashing out with no context, someone that doesn't know me. And also, pointing fingers at making a difference and the work we do. I was like, there's definitely some space in her life that she's not happy with, that she isn't at peace with. But I didn't take it on personally. I was very aware and conscious where it was starting to irritate and affect me. And then, like I said, I had the tools to do it. So I think it's normal that it affects us, but how long and how deeply are we going to allow it to affect us?
This is a level of, the way that you speak, it's a level of confidence. Is that something you're born with, or is that something that we build over time, some kind of immunity to this continuous bout of abuse, if you want to call it?
Good question. Definitely built. Yes, we know that we are shaped growing up by who influences our lives and our upbringing. So part of it is nature, nurture, for sure. But it's definitely built. How I show up now, completely centered in who I am, my worth. So that's really, really important to consider here is the more centered you are, the more you know who you are, and
more confident
you're confident and comfortable in your self-worth. I always go back to the framework that I use. Know who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and the impact you want to have in the world. If all of those are aligned, it doesn't matter what someone throws at you, because you're not going to embody it.
Agreed.
So it's practiced. I'm years ago, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, I wouldn't have had this conversation in the same way that I'm having now.
Absolutely.
And I've had friends that have reached out that did know me from 20 years back, 30 years back, from school days, that do comment and saying, wow, P, you've changed so much.
Yes.
And then I'm always curious to ask them, well, what do you mean by the change? Because I'm curious to know what the shift has been for them that they're seeing.
100%.
But definitely practiced.
I think for most of us, and I think most of us can ignore a stranger, eventually. But it hits different when the hurt comes from somebody you love, somebody you trust, somebody whose opinion matters. Is it different when it's family or someone that you called, in air quotes, a friend?
Yes. It definitely does, because you've allowed them into your space, or they are in your personal space. And oftentimes with family and or friends or people that have known you for a long time, because there's that vulnerability there, what they say can cut deeper, because it's almost like they have more claim to knowing you, to having proof or validation or facts or info or background story, versus a stranger that hasn't lived your experience, hasn't had one-on-one internal access to your life. So even this woman that claimed she's known me my whole life, she obviously doesn't, because else she would have known what I actually do and who I am and what I stand for.
100%.
But when it is someone that's that close, a previous partner of mine, I was always shocked at how badly they used to talk to and about each other.
Yeah.
And then just used to write it off with saying, well, they're just family.
Just joking.
Just family. That's just how they are. And we've discussed this before, you and I, and on air, where that's something I don't stand for, is just saying, well, it's just who I am. It's not something that I accept. But that is why it can land very differently for us and in our bodies and our nervous systems. We take it more personally. Exactly. And it doesn't mean that it is true and real, but we do take it more to heart when it comes from someone that we trust, or we should be allowed to trust, and we should feel comfortable and safe being vulnerable with.
Just because it's true doesn't mean it's not going to hurt when you throw it back at us.
And it's the delivery and the how, and is it said with love, compassion, empathy, understanding, curiosity, or is it said or done out of spite, or to hurt, or to invalidate, or make someone feel bad about themselves?
Agreed. How do we tell the difference between somebody who simply said something hurtful once and somebody who genuinely isn't healthy for us to keep close?
So it's looking at it, is it a pattern? Like, was it something that someone just said once? I mean, we've all said something mindlessly or not being present that has hurt someone else.
Yeah.
We all do it. We're all human. And then we have a chance to repair that.
Yes.
If it's something that's done consistently, where it's a pattern, that's where we can ask ourselves, well, what is this type of relationship? And is it a relationship that I want to continue investing in?
Yes.
If it's a relationship I have to be part of because they are family and they're directly in my life and I can't.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. Well, to a point is, what can I do and what do I choose to participate in going forward?
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the bullying. And I've been quite fortunate that I haven't been on the receiving end of too much of it. But, when you're a public figure, somebody's got something to say.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to like what you have to say. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that. All right. 919, it is indeed Wellbeing Wednesday with the pretty Petra. See,
thank you.
Alliteration.
Make me blush.
What is that in the distance? It's a beacon that is red.
That be me.
Before we went to a music break, we were chatting about a whole bunch of things that people are just sometimes not nice online. And it leads me to with everything that we know and everything that you know and everything that you studied and everything that you teach, does this still affect you?
Yes, absolutely. And like we spoke
I
about
look
just
at you with
before,
surprise because you're this accomplished human being, and I'm going, okay, I get it.
I'll absolutely take that. Thank you. And absolutely it does. We mentioned just before the break, you mentioned or you asked just before the break about whether it's a family, friend, or a stranger. So that's definitely where it affects me more. And also what they're accusing me of. Are they attacking my identity? So in this case, she was attacking, yes, my identity, my reputation, and just one thing. And that's where I got cross. I'm like, don't you dare go after just one thing. I'm very protective of just one thing. But absolutely. I mean, I've, going through the separation and the accusations and everything, it's hard to digest, especially when it is someone that's close to you that you trust. So when that betrayal comes in, it's hard to digest. Well, it doesn't make sense. So trying to compute in your mind what's just happened, feeling like the net's been pulled out, or the rug's, thank you, not the net, has been pulled out from under you. Not the fish. No, because we're vegan. So it's having all of that, trying to make sense of all of that. That's how my brain works, Polly. It's trying to make sense of
even fish sticks.
No. Nothing. So yes, it can hurt completely because you start questioning a lot more. And that's where, even if something to your core isn't true and real, the fact that it's coming from someone that you should love and trust and should be loving and trusting you, and the relationship, and I'm saying should, again, using air quotes, what we deem a healthy relationship to be, when it comes from that place, it does, you're not, it catches you off guard.
100%.
And it does hurt because you do question, well, what about all the other things that this person said or believed, or what does it say about me? So all those questions come. And again, I go back to why I think this conversation is important, is because most people don't have the tools that I have. They haven't done the studies.
People will retaliate or ignore,
or go into depression, or it's really going to start affecting the way they show up for themselves and in their relationships and their lives. That's where we allow ourselves to be made to feel less than, where I don't show up as fully because, what if you're going to judge me or criticize me and do it publicly? So there's so many layers 100%. To that. So it doesn't affect me the same way that it used to, but I'm, absolutely not invincible.
Why do people do it? Why do people feel the need, as you can hear in my voice, like it makes me angry. Why do people feel the need to hurt a complete stranger, or even people that are close to them?
That comes from, if we look at studies that are done, whether it's psychology or, from neuroscience perspectives, it's people that are hurting, that don't look at their own lives, that haven't acknowledged where they're unhappy, where they don't feel safe in their lives, where they have fear and insecurities in their lives. So A, they don't acknowledge it. B, they're not willing to sit through it because it's uncomfortable, it's painful to look at. And then they would rather take that out and lash out to someone else and hyper focus on one thing that someone else has said or done, something that has triggered them or offended them, which 9 times out of 10 has actually got nothing to do with that person that they're targeting. But for some reason, they're going through something, and it might be in these 10 seconds they're upset about something else. You just happen to cross their path and said something that they can now, this is what I meant, and then they go into full-on attack. So most of the time, it doesn't have anything to do with you, and it's just their way of externalizing the pain, their internal pain that they don't want to, aren't willing to, or haven't dealt with.
Does it tell us more about the bully than the person they're targeting?
Yes, absolutely. Because even if there is, let's say there is some truth to what they are targeting or bullying, they've done their homework or their research, or they've known you. So even if there is an element of truth, they're never going to be able to give you the honest or the benefit of the doubt. They're going to take it out of context. So what it says about them, it's a reflection on their unwillingness or or unable to do the work that they need to do to be full, whole, healthy, healed humans. So there'll be a core wound there that maybe they haven't ever acknowledged. A lot of times they'll be in victim mode or mentality. They've gotten into that pattern or that habit. It doesn't mean they've always been like that. But there's some place or multiple places in their lives where they haven't stopped to pause and acknowledge that, wow, I need to deal with this. So they end up bleeding on everyone else because it's less painful than doing the internal
work,
surgery.
How do we recognize the people who genuinely have our best interests at heart?
For me, how I experience it is people that cheer you on. So people that have got your back when times are tough. And what I've come across in the last few years is people that can celebrate your wins. I've noticed a big distinction there.
You don't think that has something to do with some kind of affirmation?
Yes, affirmation, jealousy, envy, where I can be supportive of you when you're going through tough times. But now when things start going well for you, how secure do I feel in myself?
That's it.
And then I can't or I won't support you, cheer you on, clap for you. I'll either invalidate or ignore or change the topic. So that's something that's been interesting for me to observe, is people that are there with you through the tough times, and also people that are there with you through the times to celebrate. So that can also look different, where sometimes it's easier to cheer you on when things are going well, and I don't want to sit with you through the yuck.
It's a little
and flipped over.
I feel like it's, and maybe this is because we're two different human beings, is that because I'm close to you and because for me it's healthy, I have this responsibility to call you out, not publicly, privately. I need to call you out when you're carrying on like a cabbage.
Like a cabbage.
When I call you out, it's not because I hate you. It's because I want what's good for you.
Yes.
You might not see what you might refuse to see it. But at some point I'm gonna go, listen, dude, like, this is not okay. And if you choose to go, it was a personal attack or whatever the case may be, you know what? I've done my job as your friend. I've done my job.
I think that also then, like you said, we're different people. So I think that's now another layer that we can look at, where it's, well, what is the type of relationship? Also, how do we tend to communicate? And then there's also the part of sometimes the intention, if it's not delivered in a way that, because we can also deliver things in different ways, right? Completely. And also with care, with comfort, with criticism. So I can also pick up, if you're calling me out on something, I can also tell, well, are you doing this as an attack or are you doing this out of genuine concern?
Yes.
Because we can also say, I've experienced that before, where people are like, oh, it's just because I care. I'm like, no, you actually don't.
No, you don't.
You're using this as ammunition to make me feel bad, so that you have power over me. So yes to everything that you're saying. And then there's also the other layers that we need to be observant of,
100%.
And not just take it all on as criticism, because sometimes it's not meant as support.
Would you say to somebody listening today who's carrying hurtful words, whether they came from a stranger or somebody closer, what would you say?
So I would say, look at maybe the core of it, why it's affecting you so much. Is it because of the relationship with that person? Is it your fear of losing a relationship that you deem valuable? Is it that your identity is attached to what they're accusing you of? So I think it's important to look at that, because this won't be an isolated incident. You'll be carrying this in different ways, or be dressed up differently. So it's worth looking at it now. And it could be really uncomfortable, and maybe you need to speak to someone about it to get a clear perspective, because when we have blind spots, it's really hard. So for example, when this woman started trolling me, and I let one of my besties know, because we do a lot of the similar work, and she is someone that I can say, look, what is going on here? I mean, in this case, I knew that this was invalid.
Yes.
But it could be asking someone that genuinely does have your best interest at heart, and will help you see the wood from the trees, will help you identify what's actually going on. But I think it's the time and the place where, oh, this was uncomfortable, or this is uncomfortable. What is under that discomfort? That's important versus just brushing it away and then carrying on. Because it's going to keep resurfacing unless you address that wound. And the wound might sound very dramatic to some, because we're like, oh, I don't have wounds. I'm fine. I'm resilient. I'm strong. I've got my stuff together. I'm good. I'm happy-go-lucky. But wherever there's areas of resistance and discomfort, what is under there? So it's just an invitation, just explore.
Just take a second.
What is under there?
Every week we talk about finishing with something practical. One simple thing, which is my favorite thing, it's the one thing I try. I'm not very good at it, but sometimes because I'm always told I have to keep a diary of stuff that I have said to people, managed, and stuff like that. And I've always been, and it's not even about being sustained to keep a diary. I have to, because in a couple of weeks from now, I can look back and go, I could have done that better, or this is what I could have done instead. So what is your just one thing for this week?
For this week, and it's interesting, I'm going to bring it right back to the message that I shared in this exact video, which was about, which is what I was accused of it being oversimplified, is look at it from that stance. Is where in our lives are we overcomplicating things which are actually robbing us of the opportunity to show up fully?
Yes.
So if I really just have to get raw and honest with myself about how am I showing up and what am I tolerating in my life? What isn't adding value and energy? So for example, with this woman, where I was starting to give her too much energy of my life, my breath, my day, by trying to find out who she was and, doing that whole investigative journey, and then catching myself saying, oh, wow, okay, I can continue doing this, because I did have a moment where eventually I found out who she is. And I thought, well, and I do have the contact numbers to her family. I thought, do I reach out to them and let them know what's going on? Because clearly there's something, she's unhinged. Is this an area of a concern? Should I let them know? And then I thought, wow, which normally that's what I would want to do, to help. I'd be like, hey, this is what's going on, just check in on her. And then I took a step back and I thought, is this actually going to contribute to my life? And is this mine to deal with? It's not. Ultimately, it's her family's responsibility to support her and look at what's going on. So I can carry on doing what I've always tried to do, which is rescue and help. But it's not actually mine to do. No one's invited me into that space. So it's maybe looking at...
I was just going to say, honestly, and speaking from one honest person to another honest person, it's none of your business.
And none of my, absolutely. Just because she came into my space doesn't mean it has anything to do with me. But I'd really invite everyone to look at maybe relationships, whether it's close relationships or not, that constantly are bringing up some kind of insecurity or trigger. Not to blame the other person, but to look at what's going on in the relationship and what it is about you that you're experiencing that needs to change. Because we can't change what's going on outside. I can't change how you're going to say something to me, or if you will or won't, but I can change how I'm going to respond to it. So it just always goes back to what is going on in the world around you and in your world, and where is there opportunity to get stronger within yourself so that you ultimately can keep showing up fully, and that you can show up with a different type of confidence and self-worth and knowing, because that's unshakable.
If we want to watch the videos, which have been great, if we want to watch the videos, have a chat, send a message, where do we find you?
petralaranjo.com. Do you want to spell it out, Paulie?
LARANJO.
Woohoo.com.
Bam.
Amazing. So YouTube is where I'll upload this conversation tonight, and all our previous conversations are on there. So if anyone does find any of them interesting or valuable, then please like and share and comment. Obviously, it helps us know what people want more of and what's contributed. And then if someone wants to reach out to me directly, then on my social platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Petra Laranjo.
If you have a topic that you'd like to hear more about, You can also send messages at 084-221-2919. We will be tackling some pretty tough stuff in the not too distant future. So I feel, so if it's something that you can just send a message and say, I'd like to talk about. You don't have to tell us why.
Absolutely. Pop us a DM and just say, look, want to keep this anonymous, but what about this? Or asking for a friend, like we
agreed. Asking for a friend. And I think today's conversation is a reminder that we don't get to choose what people say, but we do get to choose how much rent we allow those people in our heads.
Yes.
So it doesn't happen overnight, and it's something that we have to practice. It's something that we have to build, and it's not just one conversation, one decision, one day at a time. It's something that takes work.
And if I can add to that, Paulie, is it's worth doing this work because ultimately it's our well-being and how we enjoy our lives and the fullness of our lives and the joy. So don't allow others to be robbing you of your joy and those precious seconds of your life that are draining your energy. So anywhere where your energy is being drained now, look at that and what can you do to stop and change that?
Absolutely. petralaranjo.com for all things well-being.
Yeah.
Thank you, friend. We'll do this. What are we doing next week? We've got something exciting for next week.
We've got, we're leading up to Women's Month in August, and I know that you've had some questions from women around not feeling like themselves that are in different stages of their lives. So I definitely want to explore that. But again, up to our listeners to
If you have something you'd like to chat about, let us know. 084-221-2919. Friend, enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Have the most beautiful one.
Look after yourself and lots of love.
Lots of love.